Hi folks, this is Tanmay. So again I am ready with another video today. So in last video we have created the structure, the folders and all, and it was supposed to start the coding part from the next video, but I thought let's discuss first about the components that we will be using while building this entire setup, because we need to know the components first, because inside this folder, that is components, we need to have some stages that we need to understand that how those stages works. If we know the structure, then only it will be easier for you to understand and try to write the code also, because at the end we need to add them all together, kind of a pipeline we need to build up here. So today in this video, it will be a very short video where I will show you the architecture that I will be drawing. The architecture is will be a very simple architecture that we will build, and we will do that. So let me go to my browser now. So this is my browser and I am in draw.io. So I am going to draw a very simple diagram to explain you what all stages we will have in this case. So let me draw something. So let me have it here and let's name it as a data ingestion. So when we build the components, so we'll have a first stage called data ingestion. So where we are going to ingest the data, and so and this after that we have data validation. First step will be data ingestion where we get the data. Next will be data validation where we will validate the data. What does it mean validation here? Maybe for example in our scenario, let me just show you, if I can show you, and if I'm here. So this is the data set that I'll show you later anyways. That's just to let you know like how data validation works in this scenario. So here you can see, right, there are a lot of rows and lot of columns are there in this data set. Now something we already know, what we know that how many columns are there in this data set, and as well as their types, that we already know, and that we need to validate. Yeah, in this scenario we know whatever data we are getting, everything we are going to generate from this data set itself, the column names and the data types. But think as a real scenario where you first got the details of the data, that what all details you will get, right, and then you get your data. Now you need to check whatever things you had before getting the data, are this data following that conditions or not, because you need to make sure that, because when you will be in the middle of the implementation, and if you see there is some conflict between the thing was written and the data you have, if they are different, then in those scenario we definitely will have some issue. So for that we need to do some checkings. What are checkings? Need to check the column names, the number of columns, their data types and all, etc. We'll do some checking. And apart from that you can add more checks. Now it's depend on the data. If you have image data, if you have video data, you will do something else. In do you do some other way to do the validation, it's up to you, in up to the up to the stakeholder. Now this is the very basic structure that we need to understand in the case of your data validation. Now next step will be your data transformation, and as you guys already know, I hope, that is data transformation, transforming the data. In this scenario typically we say normalization or standardization. We can say that once you transform the data, data is ready for model building. So that is model training. You train the model. You train the model. Once that is done, you evaluate the model evaluation. So model evaluation, and if this model satisfies your requirement threshold, then you will pick that model and you'll deploy it, right? So I am keeping the deployment in this evaluation itself. I am not writing as of now, we'll do it later. So now the question is that, is this the only thing we are going to do? Okay, let me first draw the arrow so it will be easier for you to understand. And I'm coming from here to this part, like maybe, like I'm not good in drawing actually. So Let me just do it like this way. Let me just bring it here so easy to understand, and let's do it here. So this is the infrastructure that we have. But now just let me tell you something, that for example, this ingestion, this validation, this transformation, this model training and evaluation, these all are the components, and how they are going to connect with each other, because this data ingestion will generate something called data ingestion config. Okay, so it will generate kind of artifact. What does it mean artifact? The output from each stage, you will have some output. Okay, and this is the output of your data ingestion stage. And what will be the input for a data ingestion stage? Input will be the data. If I make it small and small just to fit into the screen, and I'm writing data, and this one will be input for your data ingestion stage. And what will be the output? The output will be data ingestion config, or is the artifact, you can say. Here when I am going to write the code, I am going to use this term called data ingestion config, but later when I show you another projects, I will do it differently. There I have written some artifacts and I will do it. But just to keep things simple, for the first project I am following this way. So for data ingestion, data is our input and this data ingestion config is our output. Now what will going to happen is that this data ingestion config is going to feed into our next stage, that is called data validation. So now what I am doing, I am feeding this one into data validation. Now for this data validation, now input is your data ingestion config, not the data anymore. Data ingestion config will contain something, we will see what it contains, but as of now you think it contains something, and this something our data validation stage needs, and for that this data ingestion config is going to be an input for data validation, and likewise we will have a same output from data validation, and that we name it as I think, yeah, name it as data validation config. Data validation config. And same way now for data transformation, this data validation config will be the input. And yeah, so for this one, now data validation is going to be your input, and output, you know it, I hope, that is this one, data transformation config. And I think it's not okay. Yep. So this is going to be output of this stage. So now this output we need to feed as input for this one, that is our um, that is our model training. So if I push it like this, and maybe, okay, let me just delete this one, let me just connect somehow. So let me just keep it this. Okay, let me just do it like some other way, and let's connect with this one if I can connect. Yeah, let's do it like this, and let's somehow right now I'm not able to find the way out, but yeah. So now this will be our input for this model training stage, and this model training will generate some output as an artifact. So let's just do it like this, model config, for example, config. So this model config is going to be a input for this stage, and this one also generates some output, that will be your evaluation output, evaluation config. So this is the final thing that we need. So what happens, data is the input for your data ingestion stage, and data ingestion config is the output. Now you are feeding the output to your next stage for data validation, same for data transformation, same for model training, same for model evaluation. Once you have the evaluation config, you will have the artifacts. What all artifacts? The accuracy, the data, may be something, it depends. Like you do have something to assess your model, Once you assess your model, then you will decide do you want to deploy it or not. That's the future scenario. But as of now, this will be the structure. Maybe these arrows are overlapping somehow, but yeah, like somehow I was not able to do that in this situation. But yeah, this will be the high level structure that we are going to implement. And so I just wanted to let you know this much in today's video. Do let me know if you have some feedbacks or any questions. Please ask in the comment below, and we'll meet soon again, guys. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.